Hey everyone, this is Devin Reel from Enginate, and in this video I'm going to walk you through a quick case study of how we moved one of our more complex BC sites with an online course to Siteglide. So let's talk about the project first. This was for ahaparenting.com, a long-standing client. Dr. Laura Markham offers this Peaceful Parent Happy Kids online course. And we built this course on BC a number of years ago. It primarily runs on web apps and secure zones, and this is a sales page. It gives you a sense of the course and what's involved in it, what people get. Over 10,000 parents have taken this course across the world, and there's thousands of active users every week. So what was important in this project was to be able to move users over seamlessly, let them continue to use the product while also rebuilding it and making it more efficient. So people in the course get weekly audios, they get inspirations in writing, they get a private Facebook group, different bonuses. They get shipped a book when they purchase, so we're recording that data. And then the content itself is rolled out on a schedule, dripped out. So it's like week 1 comes out, and then week 2 comes out a week, 7 days later. And so it's on a schedule. People don't get access to everything all at once. So that's another important requirement. So there's a lot of moving pieces in this one. It involved, it had a big impact on a large number of people that were using the course. And so we really needed to get it right, and that's partially why we chose Siteglide. So a little bit about who we are. That's Aisha on the left and myself on the right. Again, we're Enginate. We're a Chicago-based digital marketing, strategy, and web development firm. And we have about 6 to 8 team members at a given time, depending on what we're working on. We've been BC partners since 2007 and worked exclusively on that platform, taught in the different communities around BC. So when BC was announced that it was going to end, we basically had to do a whole new search for platforms, and we did a pretty extensive search. We arrived on Siteglide for a few reasons. The first one is their team. Their team has been really good about communicating what the product is, what it's not, and where it's going. And we found them to be really responsive, very receptive to feedback, and most importantly, they ship, they deliver, features when they say they will. They have a good roadmap. It all makes sense. The other thing is it's very API driven, which means it can connect out to other platforms really well. And it's also running on Platform OS. So the way that we explain this to our clients typically is that Platform OS is like the engine of the car, and Siteglide is like the controls and the dash and the stick shift and the things inside the car that help you leverage the power of the engine. The other thing that's great about that combination is that while you have this really good infrastructure and security and all the things Platform OS provides, if for some reason there's not that button on the dash that you need or whatever, you can build basically anything on the combination of the two. So there's a lot of headroom for future growth, and that was an important thing for this particular project because this project changes. This business can change and things can be added to the course and that kind of thing. So the other thing that we like about Siteglide is that the features map pretty well to Business Catalyst. Like, for example, if you're going in the actual back end of the CMS, you're going to see like things like pages and file managers and forms and secure zones and blogs and like things that in web apps you're gonna notice similarities, and so it's easy as a BC partner to kind of translate things and rebuild them, and that's what we did in this case. We rebuilt all the web apps. Here's a web app set up, just a test one, just to show you a couple things. One is one thing we used a lot was this data source multi-select, which basically in Business Catalyst you could make a data source relationship between two web apps, but in this one you can make a relationship between one web app and several web app items. So to give you an example of this, if we actually just go into an item, I'll show you. You could, for example, have a field And in that single field, you could select multiple items, so like articles or whatever resources. We used this a lot in the course. Another thing that we used in building out the course was the CRM feature in Siteglide. The customer support for this site is obviously important, and there's a lot of users, so the customer support team needed to be able to get in, look at a user, modify their secure zone subscriptions easily, reset their passwords if needed, um, change your email addresses. We can store custom data in here. We have case data, so they can see every case that's been submitted, and it's very useful in that way. You can also do case reporting, which we do often, where we're filtering by a date for a specific form and then exporting. And the other feature about Siteglide that really helped this project was import export. So we're able to import data into web apps, export it out, make bulk changes, and import it back in. So it was really important to be able to do those things. The other thing is the actual internal processes of the business. And so this form that gets submitted when somebody purchases, it looks like a pretty regular web form. There are a few things like you can select a book and this modifies the price. We have discount codes and checkout through Stripe. But there's things that happen in the background once this form gets submitted that we couldn't even really do in Business Catalyst without jumping through a lot of hoops. So whether it's firing workflows or assigning people to multiple secure zones or creating relationships, that's all happening in the back end. And now that there's a Zapier integration with Siteglide, that's going to help a lot, expanding the options here. So I would just say that if you are a Business Catalyst partner and you have a complex site, which I would define as anything that uses web apps extensively, secure zones, e-commerce, anything that's really custom, you're not going to have a lot of really good options, but Siteglides really should be at the top of the list. If you're just migrating brochure sites or maybe like a site with a few forms, you're going to have a lot more options, and Siteglide can handle that too. But we just found in this case that it was really good for more moving pieces, more complexity, and that helped us a lot in achieving success in this migration and really this rebuild. So hopefully that gives you something to think about and consider when you're selecting a platform to move your sites off of BC.